Hey, how you doing? It's Hoopy, your host of Dem Brothers from Inglewood podcast, coming to you live and direct once again. Want to say thank you for bearing with us. It's been a while. We're in between episodes, but I'm grateful to be back to share an interesting topic. But before I do, I want to say thank you to the Coalesce Group and to Fruit Off the Vine Clothing Apparel for young girls and women. We want to say thank you for all that you're doing in the community and then across the nation and in your region. We want to appreciate you and celebrate you for allowing us to partner with you at this time. Well, I want to get right to it and talk about something that's very, very interesting. It's hot. It's a hot topic as of late. A lot of people have been wondering, considering that these industries have introduced certain types of reproduction in the food industry. We already know that they're cloning chickens and some of the other animals to preserve and last humanity. But there are some interesting things as we prepare to talk about this subject, because there's a lot that we don't know. There's a lot that is suppressed. The information that is out there is sort of limited. But if we pay close attention and look at the process by which we're experiencing how to shop, where to shop, and I mean grocery stores and cafes, food eateries, restaurants, and things of that nature, we'll all agree that some of the food does not taste, does not look, does not seem the same since the pandemic. I believe things were happening way before the pandemic, whereas we were going to be affected in humanity as to what we consume and place into our bodies. I'm not an expert. I just kind of want to raise a few questions and present a few ideas that are out there, that are circulating, so that we might actually hear and do more research pertaining to what we are putting in our bodies. We already know in most urban communities in the inner city, we get food that it may not be as fresh as it would be in some of the suburban cities and areas of Los Angeles. That's where, the county that I live in. I live in Los Angeles County. But there are some questions as it relates to the products that we receive in the inner city. It's not a coincidence that some of the stores, the merchants, won't put their stores in certain parts of the inner city, when we already know that urban America has always been the largest consumer, regardless to category or financial category and economic status. I say that to say that let's bring some form of awareness to what the consumers are actually buying. Are we getting quality products? Are we getting quality food? Are we getting quality merchandise? And if not, we need to go about a certain way of presenting that and seeing if we can make a change. There is an organization that I paid attention to that really brought to my attention some of the things that might be a possibility, not just now, but in the near future. Cloning humans, biological, ethical, and social considerations. Why in the world would we think, with the high intellectual prowess of humanity and those who are scientists, doctors, and in those medical professions, would not explore greater knowledge of certain things? That's science. I'm not condoning it. I'm not saying that this is a good thing, but to even think of human cloning is scary. I just recently watched a film on Netflix. I believe it was titled Cloning Tyrone. And I went through that movie just really in total shock. I was in awe of some of the possibilities that may be out there, considering those who are in these political, powerful, high places. I believe even in biblical texts, and I'm not going to go deep into theology, but there is a passage of scripture in the King James Version of the Holy Bible that simply says that we war not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, spiritual wickedness in high places. And if I was to delve into that passage of scripture, we would be able to find context in the natural sense of where we are in our natural life. What am I saying? I'm saying that there are some very powerful people and very powerful entities that would forward their plan to circumvent, I would say, greater science. It's for capital gain, it's for economic development or advancement. And so without going too far into some of the political aspects of it, I just kind of want to bring to our attention these possibilities of cloning human beings. If they're cloning human beings, or I should say if they're cloning chickens and the food that we eat, then what makes us believe that they won't try to clone human beings or people? And I think I'm just bothered by the fact that this is even a conversation. But I think it speaks to all of us as to doing greater research, finding the information, asking the right questions, and asking questions in general as it relates to how we live, how we function in society today. The pandemic set us back in certain areas, or in some areas that would have normally not really been paid attention to. And I don't look at it as so much a setback. I look at it as an awakening. I think that we, as Americans, as people across the nation and in foreign countries, it challenges all of us to look at the true essence of life and how we live life. Everything that happens in governments affects us as people, as modern citizens. No matter what nation you're under, whatever your government is involved in, whatever your government does, however they pass their laws and uphold their statutes, it affects the people of those nations. So I'm asking that we would just take this time to explore some of the things that are taking place in society. I'm not trying to be political. I'm not trying to insinuate some type of uprising and upheaval. I'm just trying to have a conversation, and I'm asking you to also engage in conversation pertaining to some of the things that we're now facing. These are considerations. Cloning and human trafficking, these things are real. Missing persons. When I reflect on the movie Cloning Tyrone, I saw one particular scene where the urban people in poor neighborhoods, they were low income, they were impoverished, they were going to a particular eatery. It was a chicken place. It was known for fried chicken, and it was even referred to by one of the actors, primary actors, that it was referenced to Louisiana chicken. It was, tagged as crack chicken, and if any of you are in the LA area and you've been by Louisiana Fried Chicken on Normandy and Manchester, you notice that it's always crowded. There's a line wrapped around the corner. The chicken is good. I've had it personally more than once, and it is good chicken. And what they were speculating is that something must be in this chicken to draw such attention and so many patrons. So many people are willing to go to this establishment and purchase food there. And so it was referenced even in that movie. And at the behavior of the people as they consumed this fried chicken, probably was in the fries as well. But it just really, it moved me to want to know more pertaining to this concept and this idea. Is it possible? Is it true? And if so, how do we step in to make sense of it? How do we stop it? How do we prevent it? Do we have a say-so? I'm not going to tell the movie in its entirety, but it went as far as brainwashing. They were showing segments of the movie where people were actually brainwashed. They were in a trance. There were key words that were used and expressed to gauge the behavior of these people that were a part of this community that was consuming these products. And I'm telling you, I was sitting there watching it in awe. I just could not believe what I was seeing, and I didn't want to believe the possibility of these things happening. So I don't know about you, but I wanted to just talk briefly about human cloning, cloning human beings. What do you think? Is it true? Is it possible? We already know that they're doing it to the food. They're doing it to the animals. What do you think about that? And is this a conspiracy theory, or is it a factual reality? And if so, how do we change it? Do we have the power to change it? Are we going to go on some type of hunger strike and not eat certain products, certain food groups? I mean, what are we really going to do at this point of learning that this is a strong possibility that people are somewhere in a lab putting things together to reproduce humans? It's scary. It's scary to think about. It's beyond robotish, because robots are machines. We're talking about flesh and blood being recreated. And I just kind of wanted to briefly speak to that, and hopefully I can get feedback and you can ask questions as it relates to this being a strong possibility, or this just being a conspiracy theory. Well, I'm going to end this live podcast by simply saying, follow us, subscribe, like, and follow us. Ring the notification bell so that every time we come on, you'll know that we have a live or that we have a recorded episode. Thank you so much for all of your support. I'm signing off. This podcast has come to an end, and we're looking forward to the next one. Thank you again for everything that you have done and said pertaining to getting exposure for us at this channel. Thank you so much.